I'm giving it back. Steve, I'm dropping your BatMobile off today. You can have it back, man. All right. I understand all this time you were just mad, you know, because Raaabin kept the BatMobile, and therefore you couldn't get around anywhere, and that's the only vehicle that you would drive. So look, I'm dropping it off at the dealership when I get home from work, and it's a lease. I leased it, but the lease isn't up until October. So June, July, August. All right, we got a few more months, but I figured like this. When I got the Camaro, I put $2,000 down, and my credit was somewhat good. I didn't even expect to get approved for it, because my credit wasn't really, you know, it wasn't that. It was like 640 or something. Like the score is like 640, and then I got sucked into it. Is what happened. And my flesh got sucked into it, and I took it for a test drive. I'm like, man, I really want this car. It's like my flesh really wants this car. And so then they approved me of it, and then I put $2,000 down, and I really didn't need the car at all, and now I don't even want the car. So here's how I figured. I like to kind of do things where I test myself, and I put myself through like a mental exercise. And well, it's like fasting. You torture yourself is what you do. You literally torture your flesh, because your flesh is so needy. It's annoying, right? Like your flesh is always asking for something to drink. It's always wanting something to eat. You're always hungry. You're always thirsty. It's annoying, but it is what it is. It's what we are. We're humans. We need the stuff, you know, to live, or else we're gonna die. So what I like to do is, instead of me getting a birthday present today, I'm actually gonna take away something from myself that I thoroughly enjoyed the car, right? But I don't want it anymore. I don't want it anymore because I don't want my flesh to have it anymore. And I don't want to pay for it anymore either. So I don't want to pay for the insurance anymore either. And it's not worth it anyway, because I don't even really drive it. You know, it's like I get up in the morning, go and slave for 8 hours a day, or 7, or whatever. I mean, it still takes an hour and a half to get to work and back. So it's like between 2.5 and 3 hours of travel time. Working between 7. I like to work like only like 7 hours, sometimes 6. I'm not that I like to work at all when I have to, but I prefer to just go in for 4 hours a day, and for my boss to pay me for the full day. I prefer that. It doesn't happen, but it's just kind of what I prefer. Well, I mean, I actually prefer not to go to work at all, and for money to collapse. That's, you know, pretty much I want that to happen, because that's the beginning of freedom. Now, you might not see it that way, but it's the beginning of freedom, because you're and this is the elite's plan too, by the way. I'm just telling you, You know, they've had us tricked and fooled for so long. You think that they're trying to kill us, and they're not. But all this fear porn is out there, and it makes it seem like they're trying to kill us, but they're not. They're just stalking us, because they're looking for something. I get it. I understand now. So anyway, it's like instead of adding and receiving, I'm giving. I'm gonna give on my birthday. I don't want a present from anybody or anything. You want to say happy birthday, fine. It's okay with me. I'm not looking for it, but I just wanted people to know that I'm giving Batman back the mobile. Okay, I'm gonna give it back to him. You can have it, Steve. You know, I'm sorry. Okay, I shouldn't have gotten it anyway. Now, and on top of that, I'll tell you what, Daniel Orfield, I think your last name is, used to be the Poor Pilgrim, did a study on the works of the flesh. And I listened to it, you know, and it was about materials, and he said on there, you know, what you want the guy's truck next to you because it has a higher lift than yours, and that, you know, it's like, I gotta admit it, sometimes things do cut to the heart, and it's like, man, yeah, he's right. Why do I want this car? I don't. Why? It's too expensive. I'd barely drive it. It's not worth paying for it. The amount a month, and it just basically it's like when you're paying for something like the truck. My truck is, well, it's a necessity to get back and forth to work. Carries my tools. It's reliable, and that's the whole point. It's hard to get an older vehicle and to rely on it without having to fix things all the time. So that's the benefit of the newer vehicles, is when something goes wrong, you just bring it back into the dealership. And this truck is cheaper anyway. It's barely even $300 a month, or right around that, $350, something like that. So the truck, I'm keeping, obviously, because I still need it. But the car, I don't. The car is absolutely not a necessity. It's cool. It's fun. It's not that fun. It'd be more fun having a stick shift. But I didn't get the stick shift because when I leased it, my wife didn't get approved because we were trading her lease in, and we weren't sure if she was gonna get approved or not. So I got the Camaro that has the paddle shift that, you know, you can shift it yourself, or you can just leave it in automatic mode. And don't you know that she never drove my car? I did that. I got the automatic for nothing. But it's because I was being unselfish. Just in case, if, you know, she didn't get approved for it, then she could drive it. But she never wanted to drive it. Too many blind spots, she says. Well, so anyway, I took it to heart what Daniel said, and then yesterday I was thinking some more, like, why don't I just get rid of it? Why don't I just get rid of it, let it go, drop it off at the dealership on my birthday, and instead of receiving a gift, I'm gonna give the gift back. And then on top of that, Steve can stop making videos about it. Because look, the bottom line is, he claims to be Batman. I am Raaabin, by the way. And I do have a BatMobile. And if I give it back, then he'll back off. Because that's all it is. He's just salty because I have the car and he wanted to drive it and he can't. You know, he just drives his little red Corvette. But anyway, you could drive that too, Steve, alright? Fine. That's about it. I'm not going to make this one 33 minutes because I really, truly don't have anything else to say. Just waiting for the 4th of July, you know. See him again to the 4th of July. Right, Nirvana? Nirvana. I don't understand why the noise still goes off when I turn the audio down. I don't know. But Nirvana, you know, all the rock stars, they all seem to know what's going on, don't yous? Like, I don't know about the... It's like this. Here's what I believe. There's certain... Mainly the most famous, okay? It's usually the most famous rock stars know that the world's a script, right? They know that. And it ain't like Nirvana with that shirt he was wearing with 9/11, before 9/11 happened. It ain't like he was coming out and telling you... See, this is the thing about Hollywood and the media and everything. I don't believe. I don't believe that, like, Nirvana would come out with the shirt and he's talking about how it's gonna happen or something like that before he got killed, you know, whatever. I don't believe that they just decide to want to start saying something about it. I believe that they are told to put that shirt on, and they're told to do this and say that and act like that. And then going all the way up to Prince, you know, Prince talking about chemtrails, and all of a sudden, right after that, he died mysteriously. He just died. It was in an airplane. They dropped the emergency landing somewhere. They gave him some vaccines. All of a sudden, they dropped him off at home, and then he just collapsed and died. Right. Right. But that is how. That's how the government wants you to think, is if you say anything about anything at all, they are going to kill you. They are going to kill you. And maybe they do. I don't know. I just don't believe that they do. Because they want you to... It's a fear tactic, man. It's like a big bully. A big bully will always threaten you. Won't do shit to you, but will threaten you until you stand up to the bully, and then he puts his tail between his legs, and then you see the true colors. It's like, you get to that point, it's like, alright, man, you know, you feel sorry for it. You literally do, if you have a heart. Even if they're trying to kill you, beat you, whatever, you feel bad for them, because you know that they're being tormented by those whisperers that they don't know that there's a switch that you can just flick off. They don't even know that there's a dimmer. They don't even know that there's an option. They don't even know that Satan's even telling them. They just don't know. So, I don't truly believe that people actually die, especially Hollywood actors and musicians and sports players, and just, yeah, everybody they have this role to play. But you say, well, yeah, but what if you seen Nirvana on the street? Like, well, we won't. Like, who's gonna see any of the famous people anyway? Only truly the famous people see the famous people. It's like only the elite know the elite, you know? And on top of that, I'm pretty sure there's an island somewhere, or just landmass somewhere that's not right here, that is like the Garden of Eden. It probably is the Garden of Eden, like the literal one. And that's where everybody is. And it's like an island, it's a beach resort, and it's a city, and it's like a whole entire country that you just live, and you're free from like the paparazzi, you know. You're free from being stalked and harassed because you put in your time. And I think it's a place somewhere in the world. I guess it might be Antarctica, around the perimeter where they say it's ice, but it just doesn't seem like, I doubt it. It's probably Paradise Island around the perimeter. So who knows? I just don't believe anybody's dying. So when Nirvana's talking about or wearing his 9/11 shirt, and then 9/11 happens, and then they get these clown actors that are so obviously actors. It's just too much. It's too much when people believe that it's true, because I can see straight through the acting. Like that last guy, don't even know his name. I don't even know what movies he's in. I don't have a clue as to who he is, but he is portraying that he was talking to the Antichrist on the phone, and it's such an act. And matter of fact, the guy actually sounds like you, Lefty. Maybe I'll play a clip later, and he's like, "I'm the Antichrist. I'm going to get ready to drop nuclear bombs on everybody in the world." And the guy, I think that's the guy that was interviewing him, and then he was the one that supposedly killed himself, pushed himself off the bridge. I guess this is important, a phone call, so I'm gonna answer it. But I didn't have anything else to say anyway. But nobody's really dying the way they are.